laps of what he scored in the last 11 races. That just kind of shows you the journey that Miguel Oliveira has been on. Mid-season last year, when they were around Barcelona Masters, we thought he was going to be a title contender, then his form completely disappeared. But I think it's fair to say he's back.
And what a journey KTM have been on as well. We touched on this in Qatar, how difficult their pre-season was looking at the first test in Sepang, but they certainly found a direction at the Mandalika test. Their season, in many ways, whatever KTM go on to achieve in 2022, they can certainly say that this circuit, this pertama Mandalika circuit, has played a key role in their fortunes in 2022. They found a direction at the test, and they leave the first ever Grand Prix around this circuit as constructors and teams championship leaders, with both of their riders within the top 4 and within 5 points of the Riders' Championship lead.
Well, I was going to say, we've had sun, sea, sand and speed here today, but sadly we've been lacking the sun. But we'll take it. We finally did get the MotoGP battle we were all hoping for. It was worth the wait, as you mentioned, pre-race, over 8,900 days since our last Premier Class action here in Indonesia. The podium celebrations that are about to get underway. Oliveira, Quattro and Zarco are coming to the podium here in Mandalika.
Please welcome to the podium. We need instruction.
So KTM then, certainly in business, aren't they, at the start of the 2022 season? Second in Qatar, and a victory here, as Francesco Guidotti pointed out to Simon downstairs. Jean Zarco then ending his podium drought. Fabio Quartararo, quite possibly the happiest man on the podium this afternoon. A real breakthrough for him. In the West Indies, takes second place. But Miguel Oliveira, who was the master of Mandalika this afternoon, dominating the race for the moment. This Grand Prix, there was no catching him. Fourth career victory for him. MotoGP, of course, they've all come in very different circumstances. The last lap, last corner, overtake that took him to his first Grand Prix victory. The dominance of Portimao, the victory against the odds in some respects in Barcelona last year, and their victory, a real dominant wet weather victory here, as the President of the Republic of Indonesia, Joko Widodo, passes over the trophies to our top 3. Jean Zarco, our third place man, Fabio Quartararo in second place. The first time Fabio Quartararo is elected, he wasn't at the parade on Wednesday. Quartararo, one of the sweetest trophies and the most precious 20 points he's perhaps picked up in his career. But Miguel Oliveira then, he is your race winner. The President hands over the trophy. It took us 25 years, but he was certainly worth the wait, and magnificent Miguel mastered the wet conditions in Mandalika this afternoon.
First visit to Indonesia ends in joy and triumph for the factory KTM team. It's the race win and his 50th MotoGP start for 27-year-old Portuguese rider Miguel Oliveira, 16th career with 4th in the MotoGP World Championship. His first podium since the Sachsenring. Feels like a long wait, doesn't it? Last summer in Germany. Those 3 men there on your picture had to work really, really hard, didn't they, for their money and their points today. Tricky conditions. We saw big scares and Pecco Bagnaia out Molly Spargo. Jorge Martin crashed out and went well placed. Stunning ride by Darren Binder to take a 10th place. The next GP, of course, where we move from Southeast Asia to South America, and a welcome return to Termas de Rio Hondo, a South America, North America doubleheader coming up, our first trip to Argentina since 2019. Looking forward to that one for round 3 in a couple of weeks' time. Beautiful part of the world, and of course we love the passion of the South American fans, just like we've had the passion and power of the MotoGP fans here in Indonesia. Myself and Lewis have put in a fair old shift, just like the MotoGP riders haven't we today, but it's been worth the wait. We've thoroughly enjoyed it, as I'm sure you have had at home, as Miguel Oliveira takes his first win of the season.
And the shift isn't over yet. Stick around for after the flag as we break down all the action very, very shortly. But Miguel Oliveira taking the victory then from Fabio Quartararo and Johan Zarco, 2 Frenchmen on the podium. Jack Miller led early on but slips a 4th, but he opens his account for the season ahead of the Suzukis of Rins and Mir. Morbidelli in 7th, ahead of Brad Binder and Aleix Espargaro. Darren Binder, one of the stars of the day, hitting the championship leader Enea Bastianini to 10th. Paul Espargaro in 12th, ahead of Alex Marquez and Luca Marini. And Pecco Bagnaia opens his account for the season, but just 1 point for the Ducati man. Maverick Vinales still yet to get off the board. He's 16th today. Ralph Fernandez next to his 17th, ahead of Fabio Di Giannantonio. Taka Nakagami, he had a race to forget, although he did take Marco Bezzecchi by just 2 thousandths per second. Remy Gardner was the last rider home. Jorge Martin crashed out, and Andrea Dovizioso had technical problems. Bastianini then leads the championship to Argentina, but look how close it is. 10 points cover the top 9 riders in the World Championship, with Brad Binder in 2nd, Quartararo in 3rd. Miguel Oliveira, he's on the board, up to 4th, ahead of Johan Zarco and the Espargaro brothers, with Rins and Mir 8th and 9th. Franco Morbidelli is into the top 10 as a score point for the 2nd race in a row. Jack Miller moves ahead of Marc Marquez, who of course didn't start the Grand Prix today due to a concussion. He is on the 11 points that he scored in Qatar, 1 place ahead of Darren Binder. Nakagami, Marini, Vinales, Alex Marquez, Dovizioso, Remy Gardner and Pecco Bagnaia completely top 20. 4 riders still yet to score. They are Ralph Fernandez, Fabio Di Giannantonio, Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin. Unsurprisingly, given that he leads the overall championship, and Enea Bastianini also leads the Independent Riders' Championship, 6 points clear of Johan Zarco, with Darren Binder up to 3rd in the Independent Riders' Championship after a sensational ride to the field to the top 10 today. Red Bull KTM Factory Racing leads the Teams Championship for the first time in MotoGP. They are 12 points clear of Monster Energy Yamaha MotoGP. Suzuki then climb the place up to 3rd as Repsol Honda drop down to 4th. Crosini Racing in 5th with Pramac in 6th. Pretty 7th, Ducati Lenovo team. Well, they've registered their first points of the season, which put them provisionally in 8th position, just ahead of LCR Honda. With you, RNF Yamaha complete the top 10. The Independent Teams Championship, only the leading rider across the line for each team scores points in this particular classification, which is why Crosini Racing leads it on 30 points, courtesy of Enea Bastianini. 6 clear of Pramac Racing, with LCR Honda in 3rd. And KTM, for the first time, lead the Constructors' Championship. A bit of a reshuffle in the championship at this very early stage in the season. They are 4 points ahead of Ducati, whose top point scorer today, of course, was Johan Zarco. Yamaha lift themselves off the bottom up to 3rd, with Suzuki also climbing to 4th. Honda, who had such a great start to the season, they had a poor weekend. They're down to 5th, with Aprilia in 6th.
So world champion Fabio Quartararo led a shortened 20-lap MotoGP race away from pole position after a 75-minute rain delay. Great launch on the Monster Energy Yamaha machine for the Frenchman. Great start as well by our eventual winner Miguel Oliveira, who quickly slotted himself into 2nd place, having started from 7th on the 3rd row. Visibility was a problem if you were a bit further down the pack, as Alex Rins got picked off quickly by the fast-starting front row starter Johan Zarco, as Jack Miller also came into early podium contention. Mistake exiting the final corner allowed Miguel Oliveira through on Fabio Quartararo to power into the lead, as Miller's charge towards the front continued as he passed Oliveira on the brakes to turn 10. The Aussie looking for his 4th MotoGP win. Big scare exiting the final corner on the damp curbs for Jorge Martin. Unfortunately, he was to crash out later on in the race at turn 1. This was the key move, though. Jack Miller struggling for grip, and Miguel Oliveira pounced into turn 12, and from that moment onwards, it was a masterclass in tricky conditions. Andrea Dovizioso unfortunately was ruled out with a technical bump on his with you Yamaha, and after his big scare out of the final corner at the start of the Grand Prix, this time Jorge Martin didn't get away with it. Hitting a puddle in the brake was over the first corner, down he went. Another massive scare for Repsol Honda's Hollis Bargrove on a bad day for HRC, with Marc Marquez sidelined through injury. Johan Zarco's podium charge started to really gather momentum when he passed Alex Rins for third. Next in his sights was Spiller Miller. He was able to make light work late on of the Australian, and the two Ducati men fought for the final place on the podium. This was when Zarco made his charge towards second at the time, with Quartararo also coming right back into contention. El Diablo was the fastest man on the circuit at this point, and it was a hard move on the brakes in the first corner, which picked up Zarco. Oliveira, though, by this point was well clear. Quartararo, though, found incredible late speed and took a second place that felt like a win for him. This was his move crucially into second by Miller. The team keeping him informed of exactly where Johan Zarco was as he headed towards his first podium of 2022. This man, though, was unstoppable. Miguel Oliveira was the man in Mandalika. What a way for MotoGP to return to Indonesia for the first time in 1997. We can't wait to do it all over again next year. Of course, South America next on our world tour in Terma 3 or Honda. But here in Mandalika, Miguel Oliveira takes the win in round 2. Join us next time in Argentina.
Oke bosku, terima kasih semuanya ya yang udah nonton live ini, live MotoGP. Ya banyak juga sih susahnya, tapi kan ini